Welcome back, seekers of wisdom. Today we're delving into the life and teachings of an extraordinary figure in ancient philosophy, a man whose influence still resonates today, Gaius Musonius Rufus. Known as the Roman Socrates, Musonius Rufus was a beacon of Stoic wisdom, advocating for a life of virtue, simplicity, and resilience. His story is one of unwavering principles, profound insights, and timeless lessons that continue to inspire us in our quest for a meaningful life. Let's embark on this journey together and explore the captivating story of Gaius Musonius Rufus. Gaius Musonius Rufus stands tall among the four great Stoic philosophers of the Roman Empire, sharing this revered company with Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Celebrated as a masterful Stoic teacher, Musonius believed that true philosophy was the art of noble living. He passionately advocated for a life devoted to virtue over pleasure, emphasizing that virtue protects us from the pitfalls that can devastate our lives. Musonius recognized that while philosophy might be harder to learn than other subjects, it is far more crucial, as it corrects flawed thinking that leads to flawed actions. He championed a life of austerity, promoting simple vegetarian diets and minimal, inexpensive clothing, all in pursuit of a resilient life aligned with Stoic principles. For Musonius, the study of philosophy wasn't about dazzling arguments or cleverness. It was about cultivating good character, a sound mind, and a robust, healthy body. He was a staunch critic of luxury and firmly disapproved of sexual activity outside marriage. Remarkably ahead of his time, Musonius argued that women deserved the same philosophical education as men, as virtues are universal. He extolled the virtues of married life and the joy of having many children. Upholding Stoic orthodoxy, Musonius taught that fear should not be directed towards death, injury, insult, pain, poverty, or exile, for none of these are true evils. By embracing these principles, Musonius Rufus left a lasting legacy, guiding us towards a life of integrity, resilience, and wisdom. His teachings continue to inspire, reminding us that true strength and peace come from living virtuously. Gaius Musonius Rufus was born around 30 CE in Volsini, an Etruscan city in Italy. He was born into the Roman equestrian class, the second highest class in Roman society, just below the senators. His status afforded him a certain level of influence and respect, but it also placed him under the watchful eye of the Roman authorities. Musonius was a friend of Rubellius Plautus, a member of the imperial family, whom Emperor Nero saw as a potential rival. In around 60 CE, when Nero banished Rubellius to Asia Minor, Musonius voluntarily accompanied him into exile. After Rubellius was executed in 62 CE, Musonius returned to Rome, where he continued to teach and practice Stoicism. His teachings and Stoic practices soon drew the suspicion of Nero. Following the discovery of the conspiracy led by Calpurnius Piso against Nero in 65 CE, Musonius was banished to the barren island of Gyros in the Aegean Sea. He was allowed to return to Rome after Nero's death in 68 CE during the reign of Galba. Musonius's troubles did not end there. In 70 CE, he was instrumental in securing the conviction of Publius Egnatius Sulla, a philosopher who had betrayed Barrea Soranus, a friend of Rubellius Plautus. This action, among others, led to his second exile by Emperor Vespasian. He was, however, allowed to return to Rome under Titus's reign. Musonius was highly respected during his life and had a significant following. He passed away before 101 CE. Musonius Rufus left no written works himself, but his teachings were preserved by his students in the form of 32 apophthegms, pithy sayings, and 21 longer discourses. His philosophical instruction was direct and concise, aimed at practical application rather than theoretical exploration. Musonius held that philosophy was the most useful pursuit because it taught that neither life, wealth, nor pleasure was inherently good, and that death, poverty, and pain were not inherently evil. Virtue, he argued, was the only true good because it prevented us from making mistakes that could ruin our lives. Musonius emphasized that studying philosophy was more difficult and more important than any other pursuit because it corrected the errors in our thinking that led to errors in our actions. Musonius believed that practicing philosophy required more than just theoretical knowledge. It required a diligent practice of virtuous living. He argued that everyone had the natural capacity to live without error and to be virtuous, but without proper training in philosophy, this potential could not be realized. To illustrate this point, Musonius recounted advice he gave to a visiting Syrian king. He explained that a king must know what is good and bad, just and unjust, to rule effectively. Therefore, a king must study philosophy, which is the only discipline that provides such virtues. Musonius advocated for the training of both body and soul. He believed that physical endurance and mental resilience were crucial for a philosopher. He suggested becoming accustomed to cold, heat, thirst, hunger, and scarcity of food to strengthen the body and soul. This rigorous approach helped build courage and self-control, essential virtues for a philosopher. Musonius insisted that a philosopher should scorn exile, poverty, physical injury, and death, as none of these were true evils. Musonius also criticized luxurious living and indulgence. He argued that luxury weakened both the body and the soul, making them soft and undisciplined. Instead, he promoted a life of frugality and simplicity. He believed that mastering one's appetites, particularly for food and drink, was fundamental for self-control. Musonius advocated a simple vegetarian diet, considering it the most suitable for human beings. He believed that expensive and elaborate foods were unnecessary and harmful, fostering gluttony and lack of self-control. Musonius's teachings on food and frugality are particularly notable. He believed that food should serve to nourish and strengthen the body, not to provide pleasure. He recommended a lacto-vegetarian diet, including raw fruits, certain vegetables, milk, cheese, honeycombs, and cooked grains. He considered meat-based diets too crude and more suitable for wild animals. According to Musonius, those who ate simple, inexpensive foods were healthier, more resilient, and capable of greater endurance. Musonius also emphasized the importance of modesty in clothing and living arrangements. Clothes should protect us from the elements, not serve as status symbols. He advised dressing to toughen the body, experiencing some discomfort from cold or heat to build resilience. Similarly, he believed houses should provide basic protection from the elements without unnecessary luxury. He condemned extravagance in furniture and household items, advocating for simple, practical, and inexpensive possessions. Musonius Rufus passionately argued that women should receive the same education in philosophy as men. He supported this belief with compelling reasoning. First, he pointed out that both men and women have been endowed by the gods with the same power of reason. Reason, which discerns between good and bad, honorable and shameful actions, is equally accessible to both sexes. Second, he emphasized that women possess the same senses as men: sight, hearing, smell, and more, which are essential for philosophical inquiry. Third, he noted that men and women share the same bodily parts: the head, torso, arms, and legs, further affirming their equal capacity for philosophical study. Fourth, Musonius observed that women possess an innate desire for virtue and a natural affinity towards it, just as men do. They take pleasure in noble and just deeds and disdain their opposites. Therefore, he concluded, it is only just that women engage in the study of philosophy to learn how to live honorably, just as men do. Moreover, Musonius argued, a woman must be equipped to manage an estate, oversee household affairs, and exercise self-control over her desires and emotions. A self-controlled woman, he believed, is able to manage her anger, overcome grief, and resist the temptation of excessive desires. These traits, he noted, are the hallmark of a noble person, whether male or female. Musonius further asserted that a woman educated in philosophy would exhibit exceptional virtues. She would be a just and blameless partner in life, a supportive and like-minded collaborator, a conscientious guardian of her family, and free from the love of material gain. She would value justice over personal gain and would fiercely protect her children, much like a mother hen defends her chicks against predators. Musonius contended that an educated woman would be more courageous than an uneducated woman, and a woman trained in philosophy would exhibit even greater courage. He pointed to historical examples, such as the Amazons, who demonstrated that women are fully capable of participating courageously in armed conflicts. He believed that a philosophically educated woman would not succumb to shame out of fear of death or pain, nor bow down to anyone, regardless of their status or power. In summary, Musonius believed that both sons and daughters should receive the same education, as both men and women possess the same virtues and should be educated accordingly. While he recognized certain physical differences between men and women that might make them more suited to certain tasks, he emphasized that both sexes should be trained from infancy to uphold what is good and virtuous, and to withstand hardship and adversity without fear or dejection. Musonius held strict views on sex and marriage. He condemned all forms of recreational sex outside of marriage, including adultery and homosexual relationships, considering them contrary to nature. He believed that sexual relations should only occur within marriage, and primarily for procreation. Musonius saw marriage as a partnership based on mutual care and respect. He believed that spouses should consider all things, including their bodies, as common possessions. He argued that a good marriage required each partner to prioritize the other's needs and concerns, fostering harmony and partnership. Musonius advised against marrying for wealth, beauty, or noble birth, emphasizing instead the importance of health, virtue, and a naturally good disposition. Musonius was also a strong advocate for large families. He believed that having many children was beneficial for individuals and society. He praised laws that encouraged procreation and condemned those who chose not to have children for selfish reasons. He considered a large family a source of strength, support, and protection. In old age, Musonius believed that living in accordance with nature was the best way to maintain happiness and contentment. He argued that wealth did not provide true contentment or banish grief, whereas living virtuously did it. Musonius taught that a good man lives without regret, accepting death fearlessly and boldly, living honorably until the end. Musonius Rufus had a significant impact on his contemporaries and later Stoic philosophers. He advised friends such as the Stoic martyrs Rubelius Plautus, Barrea Soranus, and Thrasea. His son-in-law Artemidorus was regarded as the greatest philosopher of his day by Pliny the Younger. Musonius's teachings also influenced prominent figures such as Euphrates of Tyre, Timocrates of Heraclea, Athenodotus, and the orator Dio of Prusa. Perhaps his most famous student was Epictetus, who mentioned Musonius several times in his own discourses. Epictetus's philosophy was deeply influenced by Musonius's teachings, and through Epictetus, Musonius's ideas continued to shape Stoic thought. Gaius Musonius Rufus' life and teachings offer a powerful example of Stoic philosophy in action. He demonstrated that philosophy was not merely about intellectual pursuits, but about living a virtuous life. His emphasis on practical application, physical and mental resilience, frugality, and equal education for women were groundbreaking for his time and remain relevant today. Musonius' legacy as a teacher and philosopher continues to inspire those who seek to live virtuously. His teachings remind us that true happiness and contentment come from living in accordance with nature, practicing self-control, and prioritizing virtue over pleasure. As we navigate the challenges of modern life, we can look to Musonius Rufus for guidance on how to live with integrity, resilience, and purpose. Thank you for joining us in exploring the life and philosophy of Gaius Musonius Rufus. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might be interested in Stoic philosophy. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our future episodes. Until next time, keep practicing virtue and living a life of purpose.